Have you ever noticed how a simple hug can feel like electricity running through the air, or completely flat, leaving you wondering what went wrong? The truth is, most men don't realize that a hug is not just a greeting. It's a silent battlefield of desire, curiosity, and instinct. And there's a subtle science behind what makes a hug ignite attraction in a way that words never could. I'm about to reveal secrets that women feel instantly, even before their mind processes anything, and how your touch can flip the switch from casual to magnetic in less than 3 seconds. Here's the first shocker. Women are wired to detect intention in micro movements. The angle of your shoulder, the pressure of your arms, even the warmth of your hand can scream confidence or insecurity. Most men hug too soft, as if they're scared of leaving a mark, or too stiff, as if they're mechanically checking a box. Neither works. What you want is a touch that whispers strength and safety at the same time, a paradox that triggers the primal part of her brain that says, "I want to be closer to this man." And yes, this works on a subconscious level. She might smile politely, but inside, her instincts are screaming signals she can't articulate. Think about it. She's already evaluating you in milliseconds, your scent, your heartbeat, how you move in her space. When you step in for a hug, it's your last moment to assert presence before her mind builds a wall of casual friendliness. The key is to control the hug with precision, not overpower, not underwhelm. Start with the arms. Position yours just below her shoulders, but never around her waist immediately. This placement shows dominance without being threatening. The second her body leans slightly toward yours, you know she's receptive. That small micro-lean is like a green light her body flashes without her even thinking about it. Now comes the subtle, almost forbidden part, the touch itself. Not the hug as a whole, but the way your hands make contact. This is where men fail spectacularly. If your hands rest like paddles on her back, it feels generic. If your hands roam too fast or uncertainly, it feels invasive. Instead, slide your fingers lightly along the upper back, tracing the line of her shoulder blades, just enough to let her sense your presence. It's a signal that you're aware of her body, but you're not desperate. You are confident, deliberate, and powerful in your awareness. Every centimeter of that contact sends a silent message that she doesn't yet fully realize she craves. And here's the psychological bomb. The pause. Most men think a hug is over the second they feel her weight, but the magic is in holding just long enough for her subconscious to register comfort, safety, and intrigue simultaneously. 1 to 2 seconds longer than she expects is enough to make her body notice the difference. Her mind will rationalize it as a friendly hug, but her body will remember the tension, the warmth, and the unspoken connection. It's not about being sexual. It's about being magnetic. Every woman you meet has felt this, but few men know how to deliver it correctly. You're about to become one of the few. If you do this right, she won't just smile when she steps back. She will carry the memory of that hug into her thoughts, unconsciously measuring your confidence against every other man she knows. And here's the truth most men will never understand. She will feel your intention before you even speak a word. That's the power of mastery in touch. It rewires her brain to notice you differently, to want proximity, and to crave the subtle intimacy that only a man who understands her mind can provide. Now that you understand the subtle power of positioning and touch, let's explore the invisible triggers that make a hug feel electric. Why some hugs linger in her mind for hours, and others disappear the moment she steps back. This isn't about luck or charm. It's about understanding the way a woman's brain reacts to physical cues and how tiny, deliberate movements can make her feel an attraction she can't explain. The first truth you need to grasp is that women are experts at reading hesitation. Every microsecond of doubt in your posture, in your hands, in your energy, immediately communicates your value or lack of it. When you step in for a hug, your body language must scream confidence, chin slightly up, shoulders relaxed but firm, chest subtly forward. This is the nonverbal language of dominance and comfort combined. It's not arrogance, it's control. Women are biologically wired to sense it. Even if she doesn't consciously recognize your stance, her body knows. Her pulse might quicken without her understanding why. Next comes the nuance of the upper back touch. You've positioned your hands correctly. Now it's time to move them with intention. Trace lightly, almost imperceptibly, the curvature of her shoulder blades. This is the touch that sparks intrigue because it's intimate without being invasive. It tells her you're aware of her body in a way that most men never are. And this awareness is magnetic because it signals that you notice and you value her subtly. The psychology here is simple. The human brain remembers sensation far more than sight or sound, and a carefully applied touch triggers dopamine without a word being spoken. Breathing is your next secret weapon. As you hug, synchronize subtly with her rhythm, not in a creepy, mirroring way, but in a way that signals empathy and attunement. If her exhalation is soft, adjust your stance so your presence aligns without forcing it. This micro-connection makes her body feel comfortable, safe, and naturally drawn to you. Women feel these things subconsciously, and they matter more than any compliment, any joke, or any attempt at smooth talk. A hug is an unspoken conversation. Your breath, your pressure, your stance, your touch. It all speaks volumes. Here's another trick few men realize. Timing is everything. The initial touch is powerful, but the slight release, pulling back just a fraction too early or too late, can completely change the effect. You want her body to register that moment of tension, that micro pause where the brain doesn't know what to expect next. That pause is what makes attraction spike. Her mind starts creating stories about you without her realizing it. Why did he hesitate? What was he thinking? Why did that feel different? Your controlled timing manipulates curiosity and intrigue at a subconscious level. Finally, the psychological overlay that makes a hug unforgettable is intention. Women feel intention, not words. If your hug communicates warmth, confidence, and subtle dominance, it becomes an experience rather than a gesture. She will remember the weight of your arms, the steadiness of your presence, the way your hand traced just enough to ignite her senses, and the micro pause that made her brain question what just happened. That memory will linger, making her notice you in ways she cannot rationalize, and it will shape how she responds to you the next time you meet. At the core, it all comes down to awareness. Most men think a hug is simple, but when executed with deliberate body language, precise touch, synchronized breathing, controlled timing, and clear intention, a hug transforms from a simple greeting into an attraction amplifier. This is mastery, and it's rare. She will feel the difference, and she will unconsciously assign you value in a way no casual interaction ever could. You're no longer just a man she knows. You're the man who touched her in a way that changed her perception, if only for a moment, and she will want more. Now that she's felt the initial spark from your hug, the real power comes in what happens immediately after. This is the moment most men ruin everything without realizing it. They pull away too fast, mumble something meaningless, or look around nervously. But attraction isn't just about the hug itself. It's about the tension you leave behind, the curiosity you ignite, and the subtle signals that make her want more. This is where mastery separates you from every other man she meets. First, notice her reaction after the hug. Does she linger slightly, her body hesitating as if unsure whether to step back? That hesitation is your window. Most men interpret it as friendly or awkward and retreat. But here's the truth. She's unconsciously evaluating you. Her body has already recorded your confidence, your touch, your intention. Now her brain is analyzing, who is this man? Why did that feel different? You want to let that question linger. Don't fill the silence. Let your presence speak, even when you're not speaking. Eye contact becomes critical in this instant. When you pull slightly away but keep her in your gaze, you communicate dominance and interest without a word. A slow, deliberate blink, a brief smile, or even just holding the look for an extra heartbeat communicates a subtle but powerful message. You noticed her, and you are aware of her reaction. Women read these micro-expressions like a map. Your eyes tell a story that words cannot. If done correctly, she will feel an invisible pull toward you, a magnetic curiosity that she cannot rationalize. Next, consider your posture in this post-hug moment. Relaxed, yet assertive, not stiff, not fidgety. Your body must continue to communicate strength and comfort. Lean slightly back or to the side, not away, not too close, just enough to give her space while maintaining presence. This balance signals control. It tells her, I'm confident, I'm aware, and I'm comfortable with how I make you feel. Most men overlook this. They either crowd her, which triggers defensiveness, or distance themselves too much, which signals disinterest. The subtle middle ground is where attraction escalates. Touch can extend beyond the hug, but only if done with precision and timing. A gentle touch on her forearm as you laugh, or a light hand guiding her subtly through a doorway, can reinforce the connection. These touches must feel natural, as if part of the flow of conversation, not forced. Each contact builds on the initial memory of the hug, deepening the psychological imprint you've already left. Her subconscious starts linking your presence with comfort, intrigue, and subtle desire, all before she's aware of it consciously. Finally, the secret men rarely use: emotional resonance. You don't have to be profound, poetic, or overly charming, but sharing a fleeting, genuine emotion, a laugh, a surprised reaction, a slight teasing comment, while her body is still attuned to your presence, strengthens attraction exponentially. Her mind pairs the warmth of your hug with the emotional signal you're giving in the next few seconds. That pairing is powerful because it makes her feel, not just think, and feelings are far more potent than logic when it comes to attraction. The cumulative effect is subtle, yet devastatingly effective. A well-executed hug, followed by deliberate presence, controlled eye contact, precise touch, and emotional resonance, becomes a memory her body holds onto long after she walks away. She will notice other men differently because her brain now unconsciously measures them against you. She might smile at you, but what lingers is a feeling she can't name, a magnetic curiosity that pulls her thoughts back to you. This is psychological leverage. This is attraction mastery. By now, you've mastered the initial hug, the subtle touches, and the tension that lingers afterward. But there's another layer most men never reach. This is the level where a hug doesn't just spark curiosity, it creates subconscious desire. It's where she doesn't just remember you. Her body actively craves the feeling of being in your presence. And it all comes down to precision, timing, and understanding the psychology behind every micro movement. The first secret is contact points. Not all touches are equal. Some signal safety, some signal intimacy, and some signal dominance. The key is to subtly mix all three without overstepping boundaries. As your arms wrap lightly around her, allow one hand to rest just above her lower back, near the natural curve of her waist, but not directly on it. This signals confidence and a protective energy without making her uncomfortable. The other hand, higher on the upper back or shoulder, reinforces stability. Together, these 2 points create a subconscious triangle of reassurance and attraction. Her body will sense the balance before her mind can process it. Next, micropressure is your hidden tool. Too light, and she perceives hesitation. Too firm, and she feels force. The trick is dynamic subtlety. Begin firm enough to signal presence and confidence, then slightly ease the pressure as she leans into you. This small release triggers her nervous system to relax while also feeling drawn closer, creating an unconscious pull effect. Women's bodies are wired to respond to this kind of rhythm, tension followed by release signals both safety and intrigue. A hug done this way becomes almost magnetic, making her want to experience it again. The timing of hand placement matters more than most men realize. A slow, deliberate placement, not rushed, communicates intention. If your hands slide to their positions naturally as your body closes in, she perceives awareness, control, and thoughtfulness. Her subconscious picks up on these signals instantly. She might not say anything, but she will feel the difference. And here's the kicker. The brain doesn't just remember conscious experiences. It encodes subtle, pleasurable sensations as emotional memory. This is why some hugs linger in memory and others vanish without a trace. Eye contact during a hug adds an invisible layer of connection. Slightly tilt your head so she can see your eyes as your arms hold her. A soft, confident gaze communicates dominance, safety, and intrigue all at once. Her mind interprets this as intentional, magnetic focus. Combined with the physical rhythm of your touch, this makes her body feel noticed in a way that is both rare and highly attractive. It triggers dopamine and oxytocin, the hormones linked to pleasure, attachment, and desire. In other words, a hug done with attention to these details literally makes her want to be near you again. Finally, the release is as important as the hug itself. Step back slowly, maintaining relaxed posture, keeping your hands in a neutral, controlled position until you separate. Don't rush. This prolongs the subtle psychological imprint of the hug. Her body continues processing the sensations while her brain rationalizes them as just a hug. But deep down, she remembers every controlled movement, every slight pressure change, every eye contact moment, and it sticks. She may act casual afterward, but her body has already recorded you as different, more magnetic, more desirable. This level of mastery is rare because it's not about instinct. It's about awareness and precision. Every touch, every pressure point, every millisecond of timing communicates something to her subconscious. When done correctly, a single hug becomes an experience she can't shake, leaving her thinking about you long after the encounter. And once her body remembers that magnetic combination of safety, confidence, and subtle intimacy, she begins to seek your presence, even without realizing why. You've gone beyond just attraction. You've created a memory, a craving, a psychological imprint that lingers. By now, you understand the anatomy of a hug that sparks attraction: positioning, touch, timing, eye contact, and subtle psychological cues. But there's one final truth that separates men who simply hug from men who leave a lasting, magnetic impression: the way you make her feel remembered. Attraction isn't built in a moment. It's reinforced in the seconds afterward, in the lingering tension, and in the subconscious imprint you leave on her body and mind. Think of the hug as a signal. Your hands, your posture, your breath, and the micro-timing all communicate intent before words ever enter the equation. But after you step back, she's processing everything your body just said. This is your opportunity to let that memory resonate. Don't fill the space with filler talk or rushed words. Instead, maintain calm, confident energy. A subtle smile, a brief glance, or a slow nod is enough to reinforce the connection. Your restraint amplifies the subconscious effect of your touch. She may feel drawn to you without knowing why. Now, let's address the invisible pull that keeps her thinking about you. Women unconsciously encode sensations, emotions, and context together. If the hug made her feel safe, intrigued, and subtly desired, every follow-up action reinforces it. Even small touches during conversation, casual proximity, or shared laughter will amplify the initial memory. Her brain starts associating you with positive, stimulating experiences. The hug isn't just a moment, it becomes a mental and emotional bookmark, replayed again and again, even if she doesn't consciously recognize it. Here's the subtle mastery that most men never grasp: the art of leaving just enough tension. Don't overshare. Don't rush to compliment, and don't linger awkwardly. Let the memory of the hug create curiosity and desire. Her subconscious now carries the anticipation. She will notice your presence, your movement, your voice, and unconsciously compare it to the feeling of that hug. This is psychological leverage, an invisible thread pulling her attention toward you. Without force, without words, without pressure, your presence becomes magnetic because she remembers how it felt when you were close, how her body reacted, and how your intention made her feel alive. The ultimate goal isn't manipulation, it's awareness. You're creating a memory of attraction, a moment that resonates on a primal, emotional level. Women sense confidence, safety, and deliberate attention intuitively. When you combine those elements during a hug, you're speaking a language deeper than conversation. She may leave the room, but her body continues processing the interaction. Every movement, every subtle touch, every micro pause has created a lasting impression. That's how attraction becomes persistent, almost unavoidable. Now, take what you've learned and practice it deliberately. Each hug becomes an opportunity to leave her thinking about you, to trigger curiosity, to spark subtle desire, and to create a psychological imprint that sticks. This isn't about physicality alone, it's about awareness, precision, and understanding female psychology at a level few men ever reach. The men who master this skill don't just get noticed, they become unforgettable. Here's a personal question for you to think about and drop in the comments. If a perfect hug has three elements, intention, timing, and touch, how would you rate your mastery on a scale of 1 to 10 in each category? Comment your numbers below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend who needs to hear this lesson.